My name is Derek Parker. I was adopted as an infant.
My name is Joy Lancaster, and we adopted our oldest daughter, Carrie Ann, in 1976.
My name is Tom Heath, and I am adopted.
I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know that I was adopted. I don't know how my parents told me. It wasn't a conversation that I remember having at a young age or an older age. It was one of those things that growing up from the youngest age, I always knew.
From the time I was a child, the Lord just gave me a desire to be a mom. And I had 3 younger brothers and sisters, and they were my victims. I mothered them half to death. But I just always knew God wanted me to be a mother. And I would tell people that at school. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a mom.
My parents were very open with me about knowing that I was adopted, and they made it very clear that it was a special thing.
We were married for 6 years, and we wanted to have a family, and it just wasn't happening. And so I consulted a doctor, and he ran some tests on both of us and really didn't find any reason that we couldn't have children, but he said since it's been 6 years, it's probably not going to happen. So we began to look into the process of adoption.
I understood adoption as my parents choosing me. I really was chosen. My parents could have done anything and could have asked for anybody, but it was me that they were looking for. It was me that God gave them.
My understanding of adoption was just such that certain children had the opportunity to be raised and cared for by a family other than the one that they were born into.
It wasn't as strenuous as we thought it was going to be. We were told it would take 2.5 to 3 years, and the whole process took 10 months. And again, we felt like that was the providence of God.
The way I understood adoption and how I viewed myself was, again, just that my parents had chosen me. It was not anything that ever made me less of a person. It was never anything that made me question my parents' love for me. It was always one of those things, again, from a young age that I looked at and I thought, I've been chosen. I was chosen by these people.
The hardest part of adoption is probably the process and just waiting.
There were occasions where I ran into other kids that were adopted, and we would kind of almost trade stories, if you would, about what it was like and how it was that we came to be adopted.
We got our baby on July the 30th, 10 months after we had applied. Oh my word, we were standing in the office, or sitting in the office, and the outer office, and we heard this little baby, just little baby noises, and my heart, here we go, my heart just jumped because I knew that was our baby. And she was beautiful. I couldn't see her because my eyes were just tears just running out of my eyes. The first thing she did was reach over and grab Jerry's shirt and just held on and just looked up at him. So it was instant love. Never was there a moment that she wasn't our child.
My brother, as an adult, in many of our conversations, the way that he refers to me and the way that he talks about me, there's a total transparency. There is no sense of adoption. There is no sense that I'm not his biological brother, and he's never treated me otherwise.
The greatest joy for us was just to watch Carrie from the very beginning and her heart that she had. She's now 40 years old and has always been involved in a ministry some way or another, and still to this day she has a heart for other people.
As I grew older and I had more of an understanding of adoption and how I came to be in their home, they would oftentimes say things like, God made it possible for you to be with us.
And I look at my parents and I think about those couple of months before I was theirs, thinking, my biological family, my biological parents had given me up, and I think for a good reason. But there was a moment where I had nothing, and then I had a family, and I look at the gospel in the same way. that God has chosen me and made me part of His family, even when I didn't deserve it.
After we had Carrie, we went on and had 2 biological children. There is no difference at all in our love for them, and there was just no difference, and that's the way it is in the family of God. We're all loved with an everlasting love.
I never had any sense that I was anything but Robert and Dorothy Heath's son. Yes, I knew that I was adopted, but because of the way that they handled that, it was a special thing. And in Christ, we are brought into the family of God, and we are special. We've been rescued out of a different family and brought into a new one. So that's how I see it.
Going forward, I think of how adoption has affected me and my life, and I think to myself, if there ever comes a point where Stephanie and I can adopt, we want to. We want to offer that same opportunity to another child that maybe doesn't have a family, or that is an orphan, or is coming from a horrible situation. But if we can do that, if we can offer a home to someone, we want to be able to do that. It was offered to me, and we want to turn around and be able to offer that. If God so chooses to give us that opportunity, we want to be able to do that.